So, as youth of today, it's really important that we experience new cultures and learn more about ourselves as we put our feelers out in the world. This to me means to travel. So, hi, I'm Paige Santangelo, and I'm going to talk to you guys today about why I think it's important to change the way that we kind of go about things, advocate for policy. And my policy is that everyone as a youth should be able to or should take the opportunity to travel. So I've come up with 5 different reasons as to why I think that is important to travel and experience new things. The first is to be well informed about other cultures, to be able to take opportunity before it vanishes with age, to not develop any what ifs, have skills, perspective, and prove ourselves, and to learn compassion. So the first that I discussed about why I think that we should travel is to be well informed about other cultures. So I think that it's really important because we live in an area where we don't necessarily have the opportunity to learn about other cultures as well as some other areas of the world. The reason I say this is not because I don't think San Diego is an awesome place with a melting pot of people or that America is that in general, but I think that we kind of live in what I would describe as a bubble, and we don't necessarily have the opportunity to immerse ourselves in things that are insanely different. You can go to other places in the country and experience new things, but I think that to be able to actually travel to a different part of the world or even a different place where different cultures are practiced, I think it's a really important thing to do. And James Martin is a writer for About.com, and he kind of backs this idea. He says that youth of today are going to be the future of this country, and so it's important for us to kind of put ourselves out there and experience new things. He says on his article, quote, "Along the way, they're experiencing and debating the social controls and problem solving within a society. Having different politics and a different history, they're looking into the guts of an unfamiliar culture and acquiring a true and rounded education, skirting the perceived dangers by becoming fully informed through social interaction." So basically what that means is he is saying that we are becoming more well-rounded individuals as a result of the experiences that we have in other cultures with these, what he calls social interactions. So not only putting ourselves in a different culture, but having different interactions socially with people, talking and learning about how they experience the world, how they experience culture. I think it's really, really important to better understand people and the way that they work, the way that their culture functions. So not only should we be more well-informed about other people, but I think that opportunity can vanish with age. So not necessarily am I saying that as you get older you are not able to travel. I do have grandparents that have retired and are traveling all over the world, but I think that where they are in life, they've already learned everything about themselves. So I think as youth and as people of young age, it is important that we take this opportunity because although they don't have as much responsibility as they used to with their children and things after they've retired, we are even less than that. We are responsible for just us, just ourselves. We don't have any particular obligation other than the small ones of, being around family, boyfriend, girlfriend, that kind of thing. But the fact is we don't have children yet. We don't have real jobs yet. We don't have responsibility that is tying us down to one place. So it is important to take the opportunity that's given to us as youth. Youth is an opportunity, it's a privilege, and so to take that opportunity and kind of run with it. Jeff Goins is a writer for GoinsWriter.com, and he agrees with me. He tells us, quote, that when you get older, life seems to just sort of happen to you. Your youth is a time of total empowerment, and you get to do what you want. As you mature and gain new responsibility, you have to be intentional about making sure you don't lose sight of what's important. He basically tells us that in this article that life isn't just about you in the future. You have a lot of responsibility and people that you, have kind of tied yourself to. And so to be able to just pick up and leave is not necessarily as realistic as it is right now. Being in the youth that we are in the situation that we are in, we are only really responsible for ourselves, and we are only really responsible for what the choices that we make. So it's important to take that opportunity before we actually start our lives, start um, at a real job where we can't necessarily take as much time off, not have children, that we can't really just necessarily leave. It's important to take this opportunity while we have it. So another reason that we should travel is to not have any what ifs. So this also goes along with the age thing. When you grow up and you have children and you start your life, there are a lot of things that you sometimes look back on and say, what if? What if I had done this? What if I had done this job as opposed to this one, taken this career opportunity, gone to this college? I think that when you lessen those what ifs, your life can be enriched. So to be able to not have regrets, especially about your life as a youth, is insanely important. If we're able to look back at our lives and say, wow, what a wonderful experience life was, all those things that I got to do and the people that I got to see and meet and experience is insanely important. Jeff Goins also writes about this on his article, or on his website. He tells us that life shouldn't just happen to you. It's not about experiences happening to you. You're choosing your own fate. You're deciding the what ifs and making them what happened. And so it's really important that we choose our own fate, which is important in general. But I think to be able to travel and not have the what if of what if I had gone on that trip, what if I had seen that place, would I be a different person, that kind of thing. So I think also it is important to be able to develop skills, perspective, and prove ourselves. I think not only does travel help develop skills for yourself, I think it gives you perspective about other cultures, in comparison to your own and that kind of thing. I think that it's important just because to be able to prove yourself to yourself is the most important thing. You don't necessarily have to prove yourself to someone else and say, oh, I went and traveled here or I went here. But I think that it's really important to be able to prove to your own self that you did this, you made this feat, you accomplished this, you traveled, you went out on your own, that kind of thing. And I think that going on your own and experiencing something new is a huge feat for yourself. You're developing the skill of being independent and, budgeting, having your own money, that kind of thing. So I think it's really important to be able to do that. The last reason, I think that this is kind of portrayed in airtreks.com when they talked about the 17 reasons why world travel is good for you. They say, quote, despite the more blatant ones like giving you adventure, perspective, or cool stories, it is important to develop skills you didn't know you had, experience dreams and make them come true, and to prove yourself that you can do it. So lastly, I think that to learn compassion is incredibly important as a youth in general. I think that when you go out in the world and you see new things and you experience things that you've never seen, it's important that you learn compassion for those types of cultures. You can be somewhere where you're learning about the world and you see things that necessarily aren't in your culture, and you can be compassionate for those people. Again, Jeff Goins tells us that when you travel the world, you'll, quote, change like little else. It will put you in places that will force you to care for issues that are bigger than yourself. So if you can learn the compassion that travel teaches you, I think that that's going to help you in your life. It's not just going to make you, someone who's seen Africa. You can maybe, go to different cultures of Africa or different places in Africa, and you can, experience the poverty or the hurt or hardship and have compassion for those people that are going through those things. He also tells us later that we will be able to understand the world is a big and small place both. You will have a new respect for the pain and suffering that over half the world takes for granted, and basically just become a more well-rounded person, be able to relate to people and understand what they're going through. So I think that this whole idea of traveling is really important. I think there's so many reasons why you should do it. There are definitely going to be critics that tell us that traveling is, it's not something you can just pick up and do. But I personally disagree. I think that so many things can be put on hold. My own job, personally, I can just say, you know what, I'm gone for 2 weeks. And my job will be there when I get back. If it's not, then it's a disposable job. It's a server job. I love it, but I can get a new one. So I think that because I'm a youth, because I don't have that responsibility, because I don't have a child or, a husband, I can actually pick up my life and leave. Maybe not during school, but I have a whole summer, 4 months to do that. And, like I said, it's really a lot easier to just literally do it. It's kind of like something that Jeff Goins also talked about on his website when he talked about literally just do it. Just get up and go. Just leave and just go. Just travel the world, see other things, and have new experiences. Another thing that could be seen as another counter argument to this policy is the money aspect. But I think there are so many ways that we can save money and be able to cut here, cut budget there, that type of thing. Paul Theroux of the New York Times says that the map of the impossible would be redrawn right now, parts of it tragic and unsettling. So travel, especially the old laborious kind, has never seemed to me a greater importance, more essential and more enlightening. So I think that this is insanely important, more important than money, more important than your 9 to 5 job or your server job or, the summer school classes that you're going to take, sorry. But I think that those things can be put on hold for just a minute. And you can go and take the opportunity to travel and see the world and have these experiences because they're so, so, so important. So I hope you guys understand more fully that traveling can enrich your life in more ways than 5. Those are just the ones that I came up with. And to be a youth is to have perspective and to have ability, and this is our opportunity, so take it. Thanks, guys.